Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Invin. Today I'm bringing you guys a video on what I thought of the New World Beta, what my hopes are for launch, and whether overall I think this game is worth playing. So it's worth mentioning that I did play the alpha preview back last year in 2020 when it was a preview of the game in the alpha state, and the progression since then to the beta is absolutely astronomical. They've done so much to the game, and on that basis there is going to be a few points that I'm going to make following that sense. It's also worth noting that I am applying to be a content creator with AGS, however that's not been accepted or anything yet, so there's going to be absolutely no bias in terms of what I say towards Amazon or New World in the game. It's just going to be based solely off my personal experiences, what I've kind of found through the beta, as I'm mainly going to focus on that, as that is the most up-to-date version of the game that we have available currently. Obviously now it's gone offline, which is very, very sad, but we are going to get this back in a month, so I wanted to use this time to kind of talk about what I thought of the beta, what changes should be made for the full release to kind of make the game good, and kind of want to get a discussion going between myself and you guys as to what you'd like to see implemented, what I think they should implement, and kind of get a little chat going towards that. Now, one thing I do want to mention before we jump straight into the video here is that I actually have a Discord server up and running. There'll be a link to it in the description and in the comments. Please do, if you haven't done so already, go down below, click on the link and join the server. It'd be great to have a lot of you guys in there. I'm going to be recruiting for my New World company from people in the server, so if you wanted to join there, that's the place to be. And it'll be also great to have a chat with as many of you as possible, so make sure you head on over there and join the team. That'll be absolutely brilliant. And first of all here, we're going to talk about actually what the beta brought. So during the beta, we saw tons and tons of different gameplay, such as the expeditions, which is a brand new feature. I didn't play the expedition preview, so for me, I hadn't played any of the games since the preview in the alpha stages, meaning the expeditions were completely new. Now, I think these are a brilliant addition to the game. I think that AGS has done a brilliant job at actually going ahead and adding these to the game, and it's a lot of new content, which is absolutely fantastic, and it's kind of what the game needed to feel full. Now, obviously, in the previous versions that I've played, there's been a lot of PvE content in terms of the overworld dungeons. There's been obviously the questing, but what they did add this time, obviously, is more of the main story quest, which I really enjoyed, and hopefully it will be finished by the time we get it out. After I got to around level 45, did the depths quest for the expedition there, and then it kind of fizzled out, so I didn't actually get further than that. Maybe it goes back into it if somebody did get to level 60. Please let me know if there was more to the main story there, but I would hopefully like to see that obviously completed for launch. Maybe they're keeping a few little tricks up their sleeve for that one, because it is very, very cool, and the story works really well. It mixes in with the expeditions, which is a very nice touch. They're not just some random kind of PvE add-ons to the game. They actually are part of the story and make sense in the lore of the game, which is something that I really, really liked. I also enjoyed how they've changed the town boards based on community feedback, although it's not, you know, kind of a core feature in and of itself. The way that the development is working around that was fantastic. They were kind of OP. They nerfed them back a little bit, but still made them worth doing, so that you can still get a lot of XP from doing them, but not quite as astronomical amounts as we were seeing towards the start of the beta, which is really nice. They've also been reacting a lot on the forums and on Twitter and on other social media platforms, which is really, really good, because it means that they're kind of heading in a community-driven way, which we don't often see from MMOs or generally big publishers at all. So it's a really nice, fresh change that we are seeing with New World so far. So let's see if that continues, but for now, really impressed with that. Also, really enjoyed the fact that they had a lot of PvP content. Obviously, we've seen the wars before, and I've played that in previous iterations. One thing I would say about the wars is that they drastically need to improve the stability of them. I didn't play a single war, attacking or defending, where there wasn't players stood still, freezing, lagging, even with my computer where I'm running an i9 11900K and an RTX 3080. Way above the recommended specs, people were still stood still, despite my frames being at 60. There was a lot of like server latency, like that type of thing, which was just making a massive disconnect between the fights that were happening, the players that were on the field, and it was a little bit disconnecting and unengaging, to be honest, which is a shame, because they were really, really good on the whole. When the flags kind of were just taken one by one, or there's a few groups at one flag, few groups at another, and players were more spread out, it was a lot better, and it was a lot of fun. So really, really hope they can get that under control for launch, because I think wars are going to be one of the most competitive and compelling factors to bring people back to the PvP side of the game. So really, really hopefully they can get that sorted, and they are working very, very hard on that. I know that's something they've talked about a lot. They really want to make servers as stable as possible, so I'm very confident that that will be good for launch, and I'm excited to play it once it is kind of smooth and streamlined, because they have been a lot of fun, like I said there. Now, another thing that I didn't really get to try out here, because I didn't actually get to level 50, but it is the invasions. From what I've seen, they look like a ton of fun, and I can't wait to try them out in the main game. It's really nice that that gives you another level to the PvE content as well. well, but it also kind of gets those big group PvP players interested in something because it makes a difference to the settlements, which is something else I'll get onto later on with the settlement whole system. But it really makes sense, and it means that one company can't just dominate and completely drive pile the entire server until they've got all of their members geared up and stuff, which is nice because obviously they have to fight off the invasions even if they can dominate PvP. So it's kind of like means more of a focus on both aspects of the game, which is really good because it gives all types of players a really good purpose in each different company, which is nice. Also, like I mentioned there, the settlements are absolutely fantastic. The way that they've done them with the upgrades, the lifestyle upgrades, like the quality of life type things that are available there is really, really cool. And then you've also got all of the other bits where you're upgrading buildings, you're upgrading your refining stations, and you need higher level ones in order to be able to do different stuff. Territory standing, all of that, giving yourself some little improvements, which is up to you to choose, is really, really cool as well. And it just brings a lot of dynamics and depths to the game, which I really enjoy, and I think is going to keep a lot of players engaged for a lot longer than your regular MMO. Now, one thing they could do to improve on is the housing system. I really like it so far, but a lot of people have put in my comments section, some of you guys watching now might be the guys I'm talking about, we had a little chat about maybe adding some duo houses so that you could add maybe 2 or 3 friends in. Some people were mentioning if couples play the game, maybe they want to get a house together in there, decorate it. I was talking about maybe a guild hall type system where, similar to the houses, you could get a company hall where you could decorate this as a company, and you know, kind of when you take over that town or that settlement, your then town hall does come into that play where it's decorated in the middle of the city hall there. I think that'd be a cool element that they could add down the line. It's not really essential for gameplay, but it'd be a nice, cool, interactive feature of the game, so something to think about there. Also, I really enjoyed the skills and the way that the skills, the crafting, refining, gathering, etc. was all made in the game, kind of how it works with the tracking and things like that was really, really nice. They'd added a key to the side of the map where you can see which terrain spawned which types of resources, which was super useful. And I think generally overall with the town board quests added in for things like armor smithing and weapon smithing with those iron ornaments and iron crates of weapons, this made a big difference because it was a way to power level those things whilst getting XP, which is super needed in the game, and it makes it a lot more fun to level those things up too. Obviously in the beta as well, we had the introduction of fishing. This isn't something I dabbled in all that much. I did a little bit of it, didn't find it the most fun thing for me, but that's because I prefer to be doing some action-packed things as kind of like a more passive, chilled out thing. I can imagine that fishing was quite engaging, and some people in my company really enjoyed doing it. They were really loving it, and it was super good for town board quests or for just simply selling to other players that are trying to do the town board quests that couldn't be bothered to fish. So you were kind of, either way you were doing it there, you were either getting XP or XP and gold. So it was pretty much a win-win. So hopefully at launch this carries on. I would like to see them add some more town board quests to the mix there as well. Obviously, as you leveled those up, when you get up to like level 50 stone cutting, for example, you'd be asked for the new stone blocks instead of just stone bricks and that kind of thing. It would be steel bars over iron ingots when you got your smelting leveled up, etc, etc, as you leveled up all your refining ones, and that was really cool. Same with the gathering, you'd be asked to gather higher level materials. So that's something that was really nice, and I would like to see them maybe add some extra high level, maybe once every couple of hours, a little special challenge that gave you like maybe even 10k XP for one, and it'd be a mixture of different things. So maybe you'd need 50 iron ore, you would need, you know, 30 lumber, and you'd need 20 stone bricks or something, and you'd make those together into one of the recipes, and then you could hand that in once every couple of hours for a rotating challenge, and maybe even a weekly challenge in settlements for all of the players in that area to go together, whether you're in the same faction, different factions, the same company or not. You can all work together towards this weekly settlement challenge that would then provide a boost, maybe a 10% XP boost in that region, etc. And those would be really cool little things, or maybe extra gold income from the crafting stations, maybe it's extra gold when killing mobs in the area, whatever that may be. No trading taxes for a week, something like that would really help everybody out. That'd be really cool to see. Obviously, like I said, you do have the quality of life stuff which they added, but just something else maybe a little bit to work towards as a community would be really, really cool. I think the weapons that they currently have in the game are really, really good and seem to be fairly well balanced as well, which is quite nice, because usually there's one that's kind of way and above, and it depends on which role you kind of want to play, but there's lots of different weapon choices and weapon synergies that you can choose within New World, and they all tend to work pretty well, which is quite nice, because like I said there, in some games, you know, you've got kind of like the one dominant weapon, especially if you've played FPS games, there's always like the one weapon that's really good, or the one class in MMOs, whereas this game, obviously, you can change at any point. Obviously, when the full game comes out, we'll have a lot more time to get into those weapon mastery masteries and specs, so you could eventually level up every weapon to max, level up your attributes, and then just respec every time you wanted to play a slightly different role, which that would be really nice because it means people can multitask. You could be a healer for one day, a tank for the next day, and just literally respec when you've got the money to do so. So that'd be a really nice thing to do and experience once the game does come out fully. But I think where they're at right now is really good. I would just like to see a couple more implementations, maybe some more options to pair with the life staff, maybe some sort of other type of healing, a healing gauntlet which focuses on, you know, maybe nature attacks with a couple of healing elements, so you can be like a hybrid druid type role, maybe even something along the lines of another magic attack of some sort in there as well. We could add maybe like a mason for melees, all that kind of thing. Be cool just to add a few more additions in with slightly different skills as we go along, but again, that is something we can add later in development. It's not for core gameplay, it's not something that desperately needs fixing, but it'd be nice to see. So let me know what weapons you would like to see down in the comments below as well. And other than that, I think that the beta generally has gone pretty well. Obviously there's some server stability issues towards the front end of the beta where we couldn't get on, but once they fixed those up, they did apologise to the community, say, you know, kind of we're testing a beta, and at the end of the day, for a beta test, I think it was a very, very well done one. They listened to a lot of community feedback, which is excellent. They quashed a lot of bugs very, very quickly. They removed like the invisible dead trees that was gone within a day. They removed a lot of other bugs and exploitations that were going on all throughout the game system. I was checking the forums regularly. People would post stuff, they would then clear that up within kind of like a few hours, to be honest. So it was really, really good communication and on it with the bug fixes, which is brilliant from such a big company. Now on top of that, they also did run it pretty smoothly. You know, for a beta, like I said, there was a couple of things at the beginning where the server was a bit off, but generally other than that, I was experiencing not very much lag other than in the wars at all. Expeditions ran brilliantly. They were a really fun experience, as well as large-scale PvP, you know, groups of 10 to 20 in open world PvP worked really, really well. It was just those wars, there was a little bit too much going on the screen, I think, for the servers to handle and that kind of thing, but it is what it is. We'll get to that, you know, in hopefully for full release, but the rest of the time, the PvP was connecting shots really well. Obviously, ping was, you know, kind of sometimes a thing depending on where the player was playing from, but generally it was really nice and good engaging combat, which is what you want to see from a PvP focused game. And obviously all the PvP elements were really good. It was connecting with AI and mobs very nicely, so generally that was all really, really fun. In my opinion, if you are looking for a new MMO to play that's something engaging and a little bit different to your traditional MMO experience, that still has those crafting skills, kind of brings me RuneScape vibes, you know, kind of getting into the grinding of the crafting, getting those skills up. They do have soft caps, which is where you cap out at the maximum level you need to be to craft things, which is around level 200, but you can go above that with those skills as well and get them up and up and up so that you get more bonuses from them sorts of things. So, you know, you're gathering ones, you're going to get more speed the higher level you get. You're crafting ones, you're going to get more chance at double items or bonus items. So all of that good stuff will keep going. It's just the soft cap. So again, it's kind of like an extra grind, which is kind of nice if you are into skilling. If you're into PvE, there's a ton of stuff to do, plenty of content to see you through, and hopefully as we go forward into the game, we'll see more expeditions added, maybe some challenge mob arenas, that type of thing for some rewards, maybe kind of like similar to Invasions, but on a small scale, 5 versus a mob skirmish type round, maybe a boss event, something like that. We'll see hopefully going forward, but those are just some random ideas I'm throwing out there, so we'll see what happens in regard to that. PvP, there's a lot of engaging content with the wars, with the factions, and each different faction flagging up for PvP. You've also got all of your different options that you have in terms of company choices and all that kind of thing, so there's a lot of different ways that you can do things, and obviously being able to run a settlement as a company, run your company with the treasury there and all the things that come without even having a settlement is a really, really cool feature, and I'd like to see this grow and grow more into the game as we go through it. There's a lot of cool things that could be done with this game, and overall I am very, very excited and would definitely recommend checking this game out. If you haven't tried it yet, you've watched some gameplay, you think, you know, maybe it'll be okay, give it a go. It is really, really worth it. Once you start playing, it is a big time sink though, so that is one thing I would say watch out for. You will want to sink a ton of time into this game because it is very addictively fun, but on that basis, I would definitely recommend trying it out, like I say there, because it is a ton of fun. You're going to have a great engaging time with lots and lots of content to keep you busy for 200-300 hours at the very minimum, and then obviously after that kind of depends how into the game you are, what you can find to do, what company you're running with, whether you're running solo or groups, kind of if you want to push for those top gear scores, and obviously depending what Amazon do add towards the end of, you know, kind of the full release there. If they've added any extra content into the game there, we'll have to wait and see. So overall, that's going to do it. I would recommend the game definitely if you haven't tried it out. It's a lot of fun. Not affiliated with Amazon Game Studio at the moment, anything like that. It's just my opinion of what I've experienced. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this review, kind of breakdown of the beta and what I think of New World so far. If you have, make sure to leave a like on today's video, and please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. Make sure you drop that notification bell as well so you don't miss an upload. I'm going to be posting covering daily New World content up until release. I'm going to be covering as much stuff as I've possibly got gameplay for until we run out. We're going to be covering all sorts of news updates, any little things that get posted by Amazon Game Studios on the New World Twitter or on the forums, anything like that. All the updates will be covered here as well. And like I said at the beginning, do join the Discord if you are new here and you haven't done so already. There'll be a link in the description and in the comments. And other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching. Take care and peace.